Your cat is staring at a blank wall again, just frozen, eyes locked on nothing, and you've probably laughed it off, blamed the weirdness, maybe even looked it up and landed on __, quote, _0__. But here's what nobody tells you. That wall isn't blank to your cat. Not even close. And by the time you reach point 5, you'll understand exactly what they're detecting. And it will change the way you look at every room in your home. There's also something that happens at that wall in the dead of night, when the house goes completely still and you're fast asleep. We'll get to that in point 7. And trust me, you'll want to. But first, let's start with the obvious question nobody actually answers. The wall is broadcasting. Have you ever pressed your ear against a wall and heard something? A hum, a creak, a distant vibration you couldn't quite name? Most people assume their cat is staring at nothing. Random behavior, a glitch in the system, cute but meaningless. Here's what's really happening. Cats hear frequencies up to 64,000 hertz. Humans max out around 20,000. That gap isn't small. That's an entirely different audio universe running parallel to yours, inside your walls right now. Researchers studying feline auditory systems found that cats can detect the ultrasonic calls of rodents, the high-pitched hum of insects, even the specific frequency signature of water moving through pipes. All of it invisible to your ears. All of it completely clear to theirs. So when your cat locks onto that wall, they're not staring at plaster. They're listening to a broadcast you'll never receive, a channel that's been running your whole life. You just don't have the equipment to tune in. The wall isn't silent. You just can't hear what it's saying. They feel it before they hear it. Ever noticed your cat suddenly snap to attention? Body rigid, eyes fixed. Before anything has actually happened? No sound, no movement, nothing you can detect. Most people assume wall staring is a visual thing. Cat sees something. Cat stares at it. Simple. But here's what most people don't realize. Your cat's body isn't just listening. It's reading. Cats have mechanoreceptors, pressure-sensitive nerve endings, packed into their paw pads and whiskers. Sensory researchers found these receptors can detect micro-vibrations traveling through solid surfaces. Vibrations so small, so faint, that no human hand pressed flat against that wall would feel a thing. Something moves behind the wall. A mouse shifts its weight. A pipe settles. An insect changes direction. Your cat feels it through the floor before the sound even has time to travel. Think about that for a second. They don't wait for proof. They already have it. Delivered straight through the ground, up through their paws, into a nervous system hardwired over millions of years to notice exactly this. One owner shared something that stuck with her. Every evening around 9 p.m., her cat would walk to the same spot in the hallway and sit completely still. She thought it was a routine. Then a plumber came and found a slow leak inside that exact wall, one that had been quietly worsening for months. Her cat had been tracking it the whole time. Not quirky. The finale is close. Share what corner of the world you're in, leave a like, and make sure to subscribe. Not random, precise. And here's what connects to something even stranger. This sensitivity, this ability to feel what's coming before it arrives, links directly to what we'll uncover in point 5. Because it's not just mice and pipes your cat might be detecting. It goes much deeper than that. They don't wait for the world to announce itself. They already know it's there. They see movement you can't. Can you honestly say you've never leaned in close to that wall, trying to see what your cat sees, and found absolutely nothing? You stare, you squint, you move your head side to side. Nothing. Most people assume if they can't see it, it isn't there. Their eyes and their cat's eyes are basically doing the same job, just with different fur around them. Here's the thing. They're not doing the same job at all. Cats have a flicker fusion rate, nearly double that of humans. What does that mean in plain language? It means your cat can detect motion that is literally invisible to you. A shadow shifting, a tiny insect navigating the wall surface, a reflection from a passing car 3 streets over hitting the paint at an angle your brain filters out entirely. Animal vision researchers found that cats process visual movement at roughly 70 to 80 frames per second. You process around 45. That gap is not small. That's the difference between watching a movie and watching reality. Your cat isn't staring at a still wall. They're watching something move on it, something real, something there. You just don't have the hardware to see it. A man once described watching his cat track something across a white wall for nearly 4 minutes. He filmed it, slowed the footage down, and there, barely visible even at reduced speed, was a moth the size of a thumbnail, moving in almost imperceptible increments along the corner edge. His cat never blinked. Action. Tonight, try this. Sit where your cat sits. Let your eyes go soft and still. Don't look for something. Just wait. You might catch a flicker your focused gaze would normally erase. CT. And if this is already changing how you see your cat, hit like. That's how these videos reach more people who actually want to understand their animals. You see a still wall. They see it breathing. The most awake they'll ever be. Have you ever watched your cat lock onto that wall and felt something shift in the room? Not scary, just different, like the air changed. Most people assume the staring is passive. Zoning out, a cat equivalent of daydreaming in front of the TV. That's almost exactly backwards. When a cat enters predator focus mode, their entire neurological system narrows to a single point. Feline neurologists call it the hunting lock. Heart rate drops, breathing slows, pupils dilate to capture every available photon of light. Every sense, hearing, vision, touch, gets weaponized and aimed at one location. This is not your cat spacing out. This is your cat switching on completely. A 2021 review of feline predatory behavior found that cats in active hunting focus show 3 times faster neural response times than cats in a resting state. 3 times. Their brain isn't idling. It's running at full capacity, quietly, invisibly, behind a face that looks like it's doing absolutely nothing. That stillness isn't emptiness. It's compression. Everything coiled. Everything ready. A woman described watching her cat sit motionless at the hallway wall for nearly 6 minutes one afternoon. She almost walked away. Then, in under half a second, the cat exploded forward and caught a spider that had been moving along the baseboard. She hadn't seen the spider once. Her cat had never looked away from it. Not distracted, locked in. Think about what that means. Every time you've seen that frozen stare and assumed your cat was checked out, they were actually more present than you've ever been in your entire life. They're not daydreaming at that wall. They're telling it. ___. Quote _1___. This is your cat at full power. And what they might be detecting goes far beyond insects or spiders. We'll get into that in point 5. And it's genuinely strange. Your cat is reading the building. Remember back at the start when I said point 5 would change how you see every room in your home? This is that moment. Have you ever noticed your cat staring at a wall in a spot that never changes? Same corner, same height, same quiet intensity. Day after day. Most people write it off as habit. Cats are creatures of routine. They find a spot they like. They return to it, cute but meaningless. Wait, animal behavior researchers studying unusual pre-event animal activity have documented something that doesn't fit neatly into any simple explanation. Cats, and several other animals, appear to detect shifts in electromagnetic fields and subtle changes in air pressure, changes that occur before seismic activity, before structural shifts, before things humans measure with instruments even register a reading. A 2019 review of animal behavior preceding seismic events found that cats displayed unusual stillness and wall-directed attention in the hours before tremors that humans never felt at all. Read that again. Your cat may not be staring at the wall. They may be reading the building itself, the ground beneath it, the pressure systems moving through it, the invisible forces that flow through every structure constantly. Forces your senses were never built to detect. This is what connects back to point 2. That sensitivity in their paws, that ability to feel micro-vibrations before sound even forms. It doesn't stop at mice behind walls. It goes all the way down, into the earth, into the electromagnetic hum of the world. One owner in a seismically active region kept a journal of her cat's wall-staring episodes. When she mapped them against minor tremor records from the local geological survey, the overlap made her go quiet for a long time. Her cat wasn't being strange. Her cat was paying attention. They're not staring at a wall. They're reading the earth beneath your feet. The wall changes. After dark. Have you ever caught your cat staring at that same wall at night and felt something slightly different about it? Not threatening, just off, like the room isn't quite the same room it was at noon. You're not imagining that, and neither is your cat. Most people assume their cat sees the same wall in daylight and darkness, same surface, same spot, same behavior, just with the lights off. Here's what's actually happening. Cats have a reflective layer behind their retinas called the tapetum lucidum. It's the reason their eyes glow in photos, but it does something far more significant than that. It bounces available light back through the retina a second time, effectively doubling the visual information their brain receives from the same surface. Feline vision researchers found that cats have 6 times more rod cells than humans. 6 times. In low light, your cat isn't just seeing better than you. They're seeing a fundamentally different wall, different textures, different shadows, different micro-reflections from streetlights, passing cars, the glow of a phone screen 2 rooms away. The wall your cat stares at in daylight is not the wall they stare at after dark. They are not the same object. Your cat isn't returning to the same spot out of habit. They're returning because that spot keeps changing, and they're the only one in the house who knows it. One owner set up a night vision camera aimed at the corner her cat visited every evening. When she reviewed the footage, she saw her cat's eyes tracking something along the wall, a slow, shifting reflection from a neighbor's porch light that moved only after 10 p.m., invisible to her, obvious to them. Action. Tonight, try this. After dark, turn off the lights and stand at the spot your cat favors. Let your eyes adjust completely. Give it 2 full minutes. You might just catch a flicker of the world they live in. You share a wall. You don't share what's written on it. Standing watch at the edge of your world. Have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. and found your cat already awake, already positioned, already staring? Not startled, not restless, just there, perfectly still, like they never left. Most people assume this is quirky nocturnal behavior. Cats are night creatures. They wander. They get weird after midnight. It's just what they do. But here's what's really happening in those quiet hours. Remember at the very beginning, when I mentioned something about what happens at that wall in the dead of night? This is it. In the deepest part of the night, when the house goes completely silent and every human in it is asleep and vulnerable, your cat returns to the wall. Not randomly, not restlessly, deliberately. Animal behaviorists who study feline territorial instincts describe this as perimeter monitoring, an ancient hardwired behavior stretching back millions of years, long before cats lived in houses, long before there were walls to stare at. Your cat's ancestors stood watch at the edges of their territory while the rest of their group slept. They listened, they tracked, they stayed alert so others didn't have to. That instinct didn't disappear when cats moved indoors. It transferred. The wall is the perimeter now. Your home is the territory. And you, asleep, unaware, completely defenseless, are what they're protecting. They're not confused. They're not lost in some strange feline dream. They're doing the oldest thing they know how to do. They're keeping watch over something they've decided matters. You will almost certainly never see this happen. It occurs in darkness, in silence, in the hours your eyes are closed. Your cat doesn't need you to witness it. They don't do it for your approval. They do it because somewhere in the oldest part of who they are, you belong to them. And they take that seriously. You sleep easily in that house every night.